What's going on, guys? Welcome to my Descendant build series for the First Descendant. Today we're going over my updated 2.0 builds for Blair.
So, what's my role? Cook or arsonist?
So Blair is really powerful right now and is a lot of fun to play. My wife absolutely loves him and mains him most of the time. He recently got a stat adjustment to up his damage and shortened some of his casting timers. Not his meatball, sadly, but it is what it is. Honestly though, that thing would be too damn OP if it casted any faster, so maybe it's better that they didn't change it. For the trans mod, the main focus of this video is going to be Next Level Recipe, Truly Deadly Cuisine, and Killer Recipe. Next Level Recipe alters his first and third. His first becomes a ground walk ability like Viessa or Freyna, which leaves flame zones down as you move. This is really cool and allows you to focus more on other things rather than always placing flame zones down one at a time. Plus, there's Ghost Rider mode, which is just badass as hell. His third becomes a widened frontal cone flamethrower that deals a ton of damage and hits far more enemies than his default one. It also builds up his damage the longer it's active. Truly Deadly Cuisine does what it's always done, enhances your meatball, making it now hit for a shit ton of damage. And if you proc multi-talented right before you use it, it hits even harder still. Killer Recipe makes him more of a ranged fighter and alters all but his third. His first becomes a multiple fireball barrage and his fourth becomes a targeted multi-hit like Sharon's default fourth. Using his first and third now builds up his new custom resource, which is what allows you to use his fourth, but it's also what allows his second to restore your MP now since he no longer has flame zones while using this mod. For the trigger module, you'll want to use Wave Eruption across the board. This adds up to 110% per stack additional skill power damage whenever he uses his emission abilities, up to a maximum of 25 stacks. It also reduces incoming damage and increases his movement speed by 120%. There is no better trigger mod for him right now, in my opinion. And let's get into the builds. His first build is great for all mobbing content in the game, including the new Void Vessel and the Supermassive Receptor Dungeon. It uses Truly Deadly Cuisine or Killer Recipe, depending on which you prefer. I personally prefer Truly Deadly Cuisine as it does far more consistent damage. The mods for this build are Truly Deadly Cuisine, Focus on Dimension, Skill Insight, Focus on Fire, Skill Concentration, Spear and Shield, Frontlines, Skill Expansion, Nimble Fingers, Multi-Talented, and MP Conversion. And as I said, you can use Killer Recipe with this build if you prefer. Simply swap out the trans mods and you're good to go. His second build uses Next Level Recipe and is great for areas with high density of enemies such as the Void Erosion Purge or the Supermassive Receptor Dungeon. The mods for this are Next Level Recipe, Nimble Fingers, Frontlines, Skill Concentration, Focus on Fire, Skill Extension, Battle of Stamina, Skill Expansion, Focus on Dimension, Multi-Talented, and MP Conversion. For both of these builds, make sure to use your second ability right before the fourth in order to proc Multi-Talented for that extra 30% fire damage on the meatball. This build also makes short work of lower tier colossi like Frost Walker and Gluttony if you're looking for fast farms. Here is the RK tuning for these builds. And I use the Fire Cohesion Mutant Cell. For his bossing build, I again use Truly Deadly Cuisine. This build does really good damage while also giving you some survivability. The mods for this build are Truly Deadly Cuisine, Nimble Fingers, Focus on Fire, Skill Insight, Skill Concentration, MP Conversion, Battle of Stamina, Skill Expansion, Overwhelming Shield, Increased HP, and Focus on Dimension. And here's the RK tuning for this build. And I use the Induced RK Eruption Mutant Cell. For the weapons, I use the Hypernova, the Last Dagger, and the Secret Garden. Though if I'm being honest, other than using the Hypernova for towing enemies, or the Last Dagger whenever I need to pop a weapon shield or something, I rarely ever use weapons at all. There's just little reason to do so with Blair. But, you know, you do you. And here are the builds for those. For the Fellow, I use the Hagios Sheepdog. MP isn't an issue with Blair, and I rarely use my weapons, like I said, so the HP dog is the better option, in my opinion. For the Reactor, you'll want to use a Burning Phase Reactor. Try to focus on skill crits and or skill power boosts. For his external components, I use the Slayer set for all that yummy extra skill power damage. For the Inversion Reinforcement, I use RK Circulation Tactics for the cooldown, Selective Cellular Stimulation for the HP regen, and Superheated Plasma for the Hypernova. Feel free to swap this out if you are not using the Hypernova. Also, make sure you have this right here, RK Stabilization for the extra duration, and this one right here, Quantum Domain, for the extra skill power and range. They help a lot. Blair is a lot of fun overall and is very powerful. His only real drawback is that he has a build-up, so if you're running with faster Descendants like Haley or Ness, they will kill the enemies before you can. But seeing all those big, beautiful orange numbers is really, really satisfying. Anyways, check out my other Descendant build videos, and please feel free to ask any questions you may have about this build or about Blair himself. And that's it for this video, guys. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Later.